Hello guys, and welcome to episode 5 of this In Your House watch along series. I'm your host John Scott here at WrestleLine, and coming up on this episode we are going to In Your House 11 Buried Alive, between the match here of Mankind and The Undertaker. The last episode, for anybody that hasn't seen it, please go back to it, which was of course the Bad Blood pay-per-view. Definitely the most requested I'd had to cover that watch along, and that was the first ever Hell in a Cell. This is the first Buried Alive match from 1996, October 96. So yeah, really looking forward to getting into this. So let's get there now, shall we? As per usual, I encourage you to fire up your WWE network and basically go to In Your House Buried Alive, and then I'll give you the time. It's In Your House 11, by the way, but it's titled Buried Alive. It's from October 1996, and the time you want on this one is 1 hour 17 minutes and 40 seconds. That's 1 hour 17 minutes and 40 seconds. As always, I encourage you to pause the podcast, find it on your network, get it sorted out, hit the pause button, and then when I do the countdown with me, and on the count of 1 we hit play. So don't forget guys, 1 hour 17 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's go then, on the count of 1, 3, 2, 1. So you should see a high top view going in towards this sort of makeshift Hell in a Cell match. Buried Alive. What am I talking about? Hell in a Cell. I've got that prop on my mind at the minute. We're just about to see also a promo between The Undertaker and Mankind here, and how it's got to this point. Now, for those of you that have been following us on this journey, or between all the episodes, you would have heard me mention about the rivalry here between Mankind and Undertaker, and it really was something to behold. It was a great feud, this, and in many ways this is, I think, sort of forgotten about today, as well as, like, you know, Undertaker's great nemesis. He always used to come up, but now I kind of feel like, because Undertaker is still with us, he's had so many more sort of crazy rivalries with people like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Brock, you name it. He's just been around so long that, 1996 to about 98 sort of gets a little bit forgotten, between this sort of incredible story between The Undertaker and Mankind. And there you'll see Paul Bearer, who of course was the Undertaker's manager for so long. This is kind of showing you that story of how it all come to be. This is Mind Games. This is another In Your House show that had taken place. That we'll probably cover this as well, I'm guessing, at some point. But nonetheless, it's just showing you what happened there. And there's the maybe the first time we ever saw the Druids coming in to take Undertaker out or whatever, because obviously, like, later in time that would be quite a gimmicky type of entrance thing there with the Undertaker. Just to give you guys some background then to this show. So this took place in October 20th, 1996. This, in terms of the timeline, this is 1 month out from Survivor Series 1996. So, we've almost gone back 12 months from the last episode. And, at the last one, I mean, it's crazy to think about, but obviously a year later he comes up with another gimmick match of his own, which is the Hell in a Cell. 12 months prior he's got this. So, a little bit of an interesting stat, I guess, there. Any other good information to give you? Not really lots, to be honest with you. I did do a little bit of research before I started this watch along, but the only other thing was that Sid on this same show had basically just beat Vader, and of course our first episode we started on In Your House It's Time, where of course that the title of it is obviously Vader, but they changed their mind and they went with Sid instead. So Sid here gets the rub off of Vader to sort of go forward into Survivor Series to challenge Michaels. Here we see then Mankind about to come out, and as he enters the ring to face The Undertaker. Now, fascinatingly enough, this is like one of those VHS tapes that I prattle on about a lot, I know, but it's one of the ones I got, and you know, the cover of this and everything, like, again, it drew me in. It was like really, really good stuff. I've actually got the original like VHS to this still. I've got to try and dig them out. I keep saying that I will, and hopefully what I'll do is like post it on Instagram or Facebook. Guys, please check out my pages as well. We're on Facebook at WrestleLine and Twitter at WrestleLine, but on Instagram it's WrestleLine Channel, and I post most of the sort of things that are coming up on my Instagram page at the moment. It's just, for me, I get the best interaction with you guys, and it's just sort of a bit more of an easier hub to sort of go from one place. But obviously I do use Facebook. Here we go then. So here comes The Undertaker. Again, everything else darkened out, but they're going to leave the image there of that sort of mocked up sort of graveyard type thing they've got going on at the top. Now, I've got to say, when I bought In Your House 12, which was the one after this, the first episode we covered on this watch along, I hadn't seen this. So when I got the sort of promo where it showed, because there was a match on In Your House 12 between Undertaker and oh my goodness, what was his name? They had, I think it was the Executioner, and I hadn't seen this because I was like, I need to go back and revisit this. I need to see what this is all about. And obviously it was quite out there, and I was like, what the hell is all this about? So yeah, this is going to be quite something, I'm sure. They see Jerry Lawler with Vince McMahon. Now, in terms of my memories of this, I got to say, this is one that, yes, I did watch them over and over again, but I probably haven't seen this since I was about maybe 16, and I'm 35 this year, so I mean it's a long time. It's not familiar to me at all. Here you see interesting Undertaker's wrestling attire here. He's I think I mentioned this on our last episode where I said I really liked the Undertaker's attire when he come out because it had sort of adapted a little bit more to the times. Here I kind of feel like, I don't know, I suppose 96, I suppose it was fine, but I just felt like the whole purple socks and purple gloves, that just was a little bit too over the top. He did have, like, obviously before that it was grey, and I think it was like grey instead of purple, but they sort of jazzed it up. I don't know if it was to sort of solidify he's a good guy now, and you know that's what good guys wear. But talking of attires and stuff, like Mankind there, that's just so iconic. What Mick Foley come in there, and God, look at that Undertaker, unbelievable. Forgot all about that, I tell you. Just honestly, every time, 6'9" guy just doing it off the top rope like nobody's business, you forget. I'm sure for fans that maybe are watching these matches for the first time, you're seeing The Undertaker at a much younger age. What's interesting about The Undertaker in terms of his career is he's almost like he was more slower than he is now when he first started because of the character, and obviously less was more. But here they sort of stopped doing that whole, complete no-sell. I think around 95 time, I think they sort of drop it a little bit, but he's still very much, an incredible force. But here they do kind of let him sell a little bit more, which makes him a little bit more human, I guess, especially when you're watching him. But at this point, when I was a kid, I mean, Undertaker, he was like my kind of massive favourite. I don't know what they were doing there. I don't know what that was about. Interesting to try and roll him up, but that was a fun way of doing it. Now, obviously, the objective here for anybody that's not familiar with this style match, and obviously this is the first one, is to put your opponent inside the ground, basically. That is how the match goes. Obviously, it's complete gimmicked for The Undertaker, there's no doubt about it, but it made so much sort of sense. I mean, it is very wacky, but then look at the Boneyard match that we got this year in 2020. It's as out there as that is. I mean, let's face it. So I think you've got to give Undertaker props here for having these kind of incredible matches that he sort of started, and there are a lot of them as well that he sort of brought in like that. Here we go, we got a concerned fan there. I loved when they used to pick out close-ups of people, and 9 times out of 10 it would go horribly wrong. That was a cool spot there for Mankind. Sat himself in the middle rope. Now, didn't I like using that cable back then? I've seen that used quite a lot in this era. It's one of the things, I guess. I guess cables now, not so much because everything's sort of wireless, but they used to love using that back then. Again, I'm watching this as absolutely like fresh because I just don't remember much of any of this, especially what's going on now. But it's pretty cool. They're going to use the outside of the ring as opposed to inside of the ring, and obviously Mankind is the perfect person to be throwing about like this because he's that's amazing. That, I tell you what, I did not expect the Undertaker to come off the top of the top turnbuckle and do the splash, and then diving over the top of the barricade part. I mean, geez. There you go, folks. For anybody who was questioning The Undertaker about his athleticism and ability, check that out. Guy his size. There were not... I mean, I actually didn't realise he did that and he could do that, like, from sort of the same level. Obviously, we've seen him do it over the top rope, but look at that. Oh, man. The thing is, with that, it looks easy, but, like, if that goes wrong, it would look so stupid, and so you've got to get it perfect. And I know people go, well, that's not much really, but like in the heat of the moment, like when you're out there, the adrenaline's up, you've been performing for a bit, you're kind of more out of breath, it still takes a lot to pull off. Here we see obviously what I don't know if he sold that there or what, but in any case, Foley takes him off. I was just about to say here we go for some old school, but I think either that went slightly wrong, but you know what, even if it did, it's not one of those you effed up moments, because look how well they've sold it. Today things like that happen, and unfortunately, maybe just through lack of experience or just the way the kind of wrestling is going. I mean, the fact they're showing a replay probably tells me that maybe it was meant to happen there, because I don't think they'd show otherwise. But in any case, whether they did or they didn't, it's not really the point, is what I'm trying to say here. I'm only looking at it from the perspective as somebody who analyses things too much. But again, if I was a fan, that wouldn't bother me, because again, they've not played up to it. Whereas today, you'd get that chant going on, and then both guys would probably be looking at each other and then want to redo it again, which was just... it just drives me mad. But here they've done a good job. They've sold for what's happened, and like that's how you watch